I'm going to take a minute to jump in to the Facebook group because I'm using an app called Be Live, and I haven't used it in like a month or two. And I just want to make sure that it's broadcasting the way that it's supposed to. So essentially, typically what I would do is I broadcast this to business page, and then from there you can share it to multiple groups and timelines and things like that. But for now, I'm just going to do it right in the group, and then anybody who signed up hopefully got the link for the Be Live, so they can join directly there as well. I'm going to keep it pretty brief today because my mail campaign was not sending when people were signing up for the workshop, and I didn't realize this until about an hour ago. So I just went through and grabbed the signups that I saw that hadn't been archived yet because they were already set up to automatically mail. And I sent out some quick emails, but I doubt that they'll go out in time or that anybody will see them. So unfortunately, you know, the links and scheduling and things like that didn't go out. So there's not a lot of notice here. So I'm going to keep it pretty brief today because I don't want, you know, I don't want anybody who signed up to miss out. And I might just kind of throw on an extra day at the end or something like that, because I did have some extra stuff I wanted to talk about that wasn't really built into this program. So maybe we can do a little bit of that today instead of really jumping into the first day. So back up a little bit. This is an Income Accelerator Workshop. So where this is coming from, I have a few different programs that I offer that are usually between 3 and 6 months. And they're basically, some of them are geared more towards business foundation. So maybe the foundational elements, right? So maybe somebody who has never owned a business before, they generally have some idea of like what they want to do. We go through all of this one-on-one stuff to figure out what their niche is going to be. And then we build their business from the ground up. And then after that point, we focus on cash injection. So getting money into the business as quickly as possible. These are people who are typically working full-time, so they want to shift out of that job into self-employment as soon as they can to avoid burning out while balancing the two, right? So cash injection is a huge part of that. You have to replace your income to be able to quit your job. And then I have some other stuff that focuses more on long-term growth and stability. So that's more where we kind of get into the 6-month stuff. Now, all of this in some way always touches on income generation, right? Like there's so much that goes into it, but really at the end of the day, we work to make money. We're here to, you know, build our businesses. We want to make money. We want to work from home. We want to leave our jobs. We want to support our families, you know, whatever. It's all about income, right? So I was kind of doing some market research about a month ago and just kind of asking, you know, for people who have, you know, maybe they have a side hustle or they want to be self-employed and they just haven't really taken that leap, you know, why? What's holding you back? Like, what do you need to get there? And number one question is always, or I'm sorry, the number one response is always, you know, I need clients, I need money. Like you know, that's always where it goes, right? So I'm like, okay, let's do an Income Accelerator Workshop. Just throw something out there, you know, and get basically what I'm doing is taking all of the core elements of these programs that are related to income generation and condensing them into 7 lessons over 7 days. Now, this is something we typically do in no less than 12 weeks, but there's a lot of other stuff. There's some stuff that I'm taking out. We're really just focusing on the core foundations of income generation, right? So cash injection, and then also long-term stability and growth. So this was about a month ago, and I started kind of gearing up to do this. Like, how can I get all of this information and jam it into 7 days and just hand it out, right? Now, right as I was about to launch it, all this crazy stuff happened, and it kind of threw me off a little bit because it changes a little bit of what, you know, my focus is and what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to help with. Now, I'm really happy that this was the direction I was going in because it's very relevant. Like, people need this kind of information right now. And having a free workshop makes it so much more accessible, right? We have all these people now who are trying to work from home. who maybe have never done that before, people who have lost their jobs and don't know how to generate income at all right now. So this changed a little bit of how I'm doing this. So I shifted a bit into, I was going to focus more on people who are self-employed and looking for income stability, right? So if you're already running your business and you've been doing it for a while, but like maybe you have some months that are really good and some that are just like, I don't even know where my next client is going to come from. And then also people who have a side hustle, so they're still working full time and they're, they have something on the side. They haven't really gone all in with it, and they really are thinking, like, hey, I want to make that push and shift into being self-employed full time with, what's currently my side hustle. But I decided to also add people who want to be self-employed and really just have no clue, like where to start, what do I do? This really puts a lot of pressure on a 7-day workshop because there's so much that goes into that. But I found some ways to kind of connect all of it and make it so that all of this information is going to be relevant to each one of these groups, right? So today, I don't want to dive too much into the actual like first day lesson that I had planned, because I know some people who joined aren't going to be able to hop on because they really had no heads up for when we were going to be doing this. But I do want to talk a little bit about what's going on. So like I've been getting a lot of different inquiries from clients, right? And from people in general who are like, everything that's happening right now is so different and it changes, it changes so much. So like, how do I adjust my business? I have clients I've been working with for a long time who, are really on this path of like, they're generating income, they have this stability, and then it's like, boom, everything changes. How do I adjust really quickly, right? And in general, I like to focus on fast, cash injection and like income generation very quickly for a new business. So this is kind of similar where it's like you have to kind of react quickly and make a shift to be able to maintain that. So there's a lot that goes into this. A lot of people are feeling like, I've been seeing this question a lot. Should I promote my business during a tragedy or crisis, right? Is it ethical to do that? So here's the thing, and this really relates to every part of what this workshop will be about. Ethics in sales at all times, it always revolves around value and intention. So if you're providing something that's valuable and your intention isn't malicious, like you're trying to capitalize on someone's misfortune, then you're fine, right? And in general, when we look at, the group of people who maybe want to become self-employed and they haven't made any steps in that direction yet, one of the first things that you need to do is determine what your focus is going to be, right? Like you have to niche down, and that's something we'll do with people who are already self-employed too. You kind of want to revisit that on a regular basis and adjust as needed. In every case, we always want to focus on what you have inside of you that's valuable, right? You have these natural innate talents. You have these passions. You have all of these things that are just part of who you are. And it kind of leads you to this purpose-driven business model, ideally, right? Like that's really what we want. And it creates something that becomes so sustainable because it's so natural for you. And there's always value in that, right? Like there's a reason that you have this particular passion. There's always value in it. There are so many people in the world who are looking for what you have to offer. So as long as you're providing something of value and your intention is not malicious, again, you're good. Like you want to continue offering this value to the world now more than ever before, really, right? I mean, especially if you have something that genuinely helps people, it's kind of like you're doing them a disservice by not offering it. So if you're really pulling back the reins, think about the people that you have maybe helped in the past and the people who you could potentially help in the future. Like is there someone out there somewhere who's sitting waiting for you and what you have to offer? Or they're actively searching for that. If you're not putting it out there, you're never going to connect with them. So it's kind of like you're taking potential value out of their life, right? So you kind of owe it to the world to continue offering your services. I mean, I saw there was one thread going about this, kind of this whole thing, and there were a couple of people on there who are mental health professionals, and they were like completely just stopped, offering their services because they were afraid of coming off as insensitive. And I'm like, I see what you're saying, but also the other side of my newsfeed is people who are struggling because, they're stuck at home and they're like terrified and they're, depressed and anxious and like, they need you right now, especially, right? So I think there's a different kind of way to look at this. Now, first of all, look at what you already offer, right? Are there people who are still using the thing that you have to offer? If there are, and you are able to deliver it, like you can actually functionally do that, and say someone approached you and asked you for it, would you turn them down? Now, the specifics of our current situation kind of might require some adjustments in how you deliver your service, right? So there are some of you who genuinely can't provide what you normally provide. So I have one client right now who what he does is in person, and he really can't deliver the service that he typically delivers to his client base, and he already has built this audience, right? And they're shut down too, so they're also not working. And we really had to kind of take a step back and think, okay, normally I'm not going to jump in and say like just go and change your niche, right? There's too much, like it's kind of like starting a business from the ground up. But what do you already offer? Who is in your audience? What needs do they currently have? So these are people who, in particular, they're people who had shifted to working from home, but the type of work they're doing is very different. And what could you potentially offer that actually fits with what you do that would help them, and at the same time would help you because you might be able to bring in more business. Now, the first thing that we did was market research. So you have to reach out and talk to these people and kind of see what's really going on, like what's changed with them. But before we even did that, kind of came up with some ideas, just thinking out of the box, right? Like, what else can you offer that you are actually able to deliver that can help people right now, right? Like whatever you normally offer, it's valuable because people are paying for it. Even if they're not paying you. So if you're really struggling in your business and you're not getting clients, you probably know other people who are doing something, the same thing or something very similar, and they're getting clients, right? They're making money. So that service is valuable. Now, how are people adjusting to not having that available, right? Like, what are they doing instead? What other new needs did they have that you could potentially reasonably serve? And that's all about really kind of looking at the real value in what you have to offer, right? To really take a step back and think about, and again, this goes right back to like the people who don't have any clue what they want to do with their business. Think about the value that you bring into the world on a regular basis, right? So like if you ask your friends and family members, hey, what's my best quality? Like, what do you like about me? What do you think is useful about me? If you were going to ask me for advice on something, what would it be? And it could be anything. I mean, it's so funny the stuff that people come up with when we're going into all of the details of like creating your niche and really kind of focusing on your passion and your purpose, right? And again, same thing, like when you've been doing this for years, it's always great to just kind of shift back and refocus on your genuine, like your innate talents and your genuine passion. And this right now is an excellent opportunity to do that. I want to comment too. I forgot about this. So I haven't used BeLive in a while, and they changed so that I guess there's like some Facebook restrictions. So if you're commenting from the Facebook group, I can see your comments, but I won't be able to see your name. So there's actually a link that you can go to, and you just have to click a button that says allow BeLive to show my comments. So if you do that, then I can see who they're coming from. It's confusing because the comments will come in and I can't even, it just says Facebook user. So I don't even know if it's the same person commenting or if it's different people. But yeah, I'll post that in the video, you know, in the comments in the Facebook groups. That this is actually, I'm only broadcasting to one group right now. So yeah, so try to look for right now. And again, I'm just kind of talking in general about some shifts that we can make right now in light of what's going on. I'm not really diving into the workshop so much today because the notifications weren't going out. So really we want to dive into like what unique ethical opportunities do you have, and really thinking about how you can serve other people. Now this workshop is about income generation, right? It is about making money, but that kind of goes hand in hand with, I mean, right now we're looking at long-term growth and stability in a pretty big way. And those two things kind of go hand in hand. If you're not providing value, you can go out and get cash right now. You can go out and sell something. You can get clients right now. I mean, even literally right now, you can still do that. But if you really focus on bringing value and helping right now, that is going to create a lot of long-term stability for you. It's going to, it just works that way. Somebody said, yes, value. When you ignore or neglect your new business, you really open doors to boredom and become complacent. That is true. So yeah, again, right now, there's a big focus on follow-ups because we're having a bit of, it's a little bit difficult, more difficult than normal to generate leads right now, right? So like new sales, you can still work on like growing your audience and stuff like that, and you can definitely still generate leads. But follow-ups I think are really key, especially, I mean, depending on what you're doing, but most of the people I've been working with lately, that seems to be really key right now, kind of looking at, you know, who you've already talked to. This is somebody who has already expressed interest in what you're doing, right? And if they are ready now to purchase, they are going to be an amazing client. So for people who are doing like, you know, longer like coaching programs and things of that nature, anybody who's ready to buy from you right now is going to be committed. Like they're going to be an excellent client. They will look at this as an investment rather than a cost. And that's something that we'll go over later in the workshop. That's it's definitely the focus that you want your clients to have, right? When they recognize that they're investing in this, in your whatever it is that you're offering, rather than just buying something, then they're going to commit more to it. And when you have people who are genuinely committed, they're going to get better results. And all around, that's going to help your business on every level. So yeah, follow up with those people. And of course, there's going to be people who just aren't ready. And, you know, timing is an issue that in general, and again, this is something that we'll go over kind of more in the like sales conversation portion of the workshop. But in general, you want to address any objections that potential clients might have before they come up. So when someone else brings up a problem, you know, like, okay, this is not a good time right now. You know, my husband just lost his job and I don't want to invest in something for my business because I don't know, we don't have that future income stability. I don't know if he's going to be able to go back to work tomorrow or, you know, 6 months from now. I don't know what this is going to look like. So then it becomes a kind of a problem for you to, it's like a problem for you to resolve, right? Instead of that, bring it up first and work through it together. And in some cases, you know, right now that I completely understand. And there might be nothing that you can do about that, right? If you're offering something that's got an ROI attached to it, then you can kind of talk through it with them and see what they might be comfortable with. But outside of that, in general, just make sure that you're bringing up those objections first. That could be a great client in the future when they have kind of regained that income stability, and they're going to remember how thoughtful you were in considering what their needs were, right? And bringing it up first and saying, hey, this is something that we're kind of going to work through together, not, anyway. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of go over a little bit about how things are looking right now. And then we'll actually jump into the workshop tomorrow. I don't know what happened with my mail campaign, but I had it set up to go out automatically in MailChimp. And then I noticed that I didn't get any responses, which was odd. And so I went to log into MailChimp a little while ago, and I couldn't log in. It's like not letting me log in at all. So I have no clue what's going on, but I'm going to work on that. I sent them an email, but hopefully I can get in there and I can send out all the materials and stuff because the email's already written in there. But if not, I can kind of shift them over and just do them somewhere else for now. But I don't want to get too much into it and have people who, kind of weren't notified and kind of aren't here to do the lives and stuff. So I figured we just focus on, what's going on in the world right now and kind of how to adjust as a little, maybe a bonus session, I guess we could call it. A couple more things too. When we get into situations like this, your mindset is really important. And that's something that's going to come up in this workshop in general anyway. Your mindset is really key to income generation. It's something that people tend to not notice. So I work with people who are brand new, starting a brand new business. And I work with people who have been in business for a while and are looking for more stability. It's something that you typically don't realize, like money mindset issues. You don't generally realize them until either someone puts it in front of you or you've been trying to generate income in your business for a long time and it's not working. And you're seeing it work for other people and you don't understand why. And then you kind of start to notice you're coming up with stories about why. It's a money mindset issue, right? So I'm going to have a lot of really tangible stuff to take home tangible stuff. We're going to have a bunch of activities and things like that you can go through to, I'm going to go generate income for my business. But a lot of it really revolves around money mindset stuff. As much as we like to think we can just go do these activities, you really have to kind of train yourself to be in this particular space to be able to receive money. Now, right now, it's particularly difficult because people are asking questions like, is it even ethical for me to make money right now? Well, first of all, yeah, is it ethical for you to support yourself and your family? Yes. And especially, again, if what you do is really helping other people, you're bringing value to them, then yes, of course. But when you ask questions like that, your brain questions like, or they say things like, I can't get clients, or why can't I get clients? I'm not getting enough clients. I'm not making enough money. That's kind of a setup for failure. When you say that, it's like you create this kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. So when you say, why can't I get clients? Your brain is going to answer that question. Well, I can't get clients because nobody wants what I'm selling, or because it's too expensive, or because you're going to have all of these stories about why you can't get clients. And you're just basically feeding the fact that you can't get clients. All of those stories are just feeding right into it. And the adjustments that come from those answers are not positive adjustments for income flow. So, when you say, why can't I get clients? It's because my product is too expensive. You drop the price on it. And honestly, I've seen this happen so many times. You will now get less clients, or the ones that you get will be awful and they will not be a good fit. And then you're working more, you're making less money, and it's just all around just a bad idea. When you really feel like that, the best response, and again, this is something we'll get into later, but raise your prices. Just trust me on that. We'll dig into that more down the road this week in the workshop. But because of what's going on, I just kind of wanted to set this up now since we're here. Asking your brain the right questions, right? So kind of sit back and look at the situation and say, how is this going to work for me? Not, you know, how is this going to affect my business like in a bad way? I feel like a lot of people are looking at it in a really bad way, in a really negative light, right? So how will this work for me? And I don't mean, you know, to capitalize on a crisis situation or a tragedy, right? I mean, to focus on the things that do work, because that's all you can really do. And that's what you have control over, right? So how does this work for me? How can I show up? Like, what can I do and what adjustments can I make to make this situation kind of work for me instead of against me, right? Where is there opportunity in this? I mean, again, like it's not to capitalize on something that's negative. It's just to take your positioning and put yourself in a better place, right? So you can come out of this. I mean, it's not something that's going to be permanent. And there's going to be a lot of big changes, I'm sure. And basically your job is to adjust to that and kind of go with it. I mean, especially as an entrepreneur, whether you've been doing it for a while or you're just getting started, we are here to be handed problems so that we can solve them. I swear that is like your number one job as an entrepreneur. It's to hit roadblocks and figure out ways to get around them. That will never stop happening. So, you know, really kind of building up that resiliency now is a great opportunity to exercise that muscle of, you know, resiliency and innovation, coming up with new ideas and figuring out ways to navigate around this. I mean, if you look at like some of the biggest businesses in existence now were started in some of the worst economic times in the world. Like the Great Depression. I mean, look up companies that were started during the Great Depression, like huge companies. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I think IBM was one of them. But there is opportunity there, right? And especially, again, if you're providing value and you're putting something positive into the world, which you should be. If you're really niched down into your passion and your purpose, you absolutely should be. So if that's what you're doing, then it's a really positive thing for you to look at it that way. And there are a lot of things that you can do to help right now, right? So another question or another way to kind of frame your mindset is, how can I serve my clients right now? So if you're already, you know, you're already working your business, you already have clients, how can you show up for them? What can you do for them? How can you help them? You know, and that kind of might expand how your business model works. And that might open up more opportunities for you. And especially going back to, there's a big focus on follow-ups right now. So if you really start to look at innovative ways to help your current clients, you might be able to go back to people that you need to follow up with and say, hey, wait a second, I have this new idea and there's something else that I can offer here. And follow-ups in general, this is a whole subject that we're going to cover in this workshop. But the statistics on follow-ups, it's something, there's like 8 to 12 touch points before you actually get a sale with a potential client, right? So you have to talk to them so many times before it actually happens. And most people quit after the second or third. So most potential sales you will never see. Follow-ups are really important. And there's a lot of mindset stuff around that, I think, that holds us back from going through with follow-ups. And again, we're going to dig into that more later, but that's a big focus right now. So if you're going to just kind of take this and run with it, go do some follow-ups when you get up here. That is your biggest opportunity right now, probably. And then the last question I would ask here. Now, again, every day we're going to be doing activities and stuff, and you're going to have like kind of questions to go over and different, different activities to do to kind of shift your business and shift the mindset, and pull some cash into your business. Now, so I'm kind of creating these on the fly for today because we're not really doing day one, but I want to leave you with this one. What can I do today to get whatever it is that you think you need right now? What can I do today to get that tomorrow? Or today or this week, right? So it's 8:30 at night here. I probably won't be doing much today to get, whatever my next goal is tomorrow. I'll probably be doing it tomorrow for the next day or tomorrow for tomorrow, right? So it's one of the first things I like to look at every morning, and it's particularly important right now. So I will get up and first thing in the morning say, what can I do today to get this today? And whatever it is, now this is an Income Accelerator Workshop. So we're talking about income, right? Now you can use this in any time frame. So what can I do today to get a client today, right? If you want to shift into more long-term goals and you're looking at growth and stability, what can I do today to get 5 clients a month from now, right? Because there are different activities that we can do, like maybe today or tomorrow, in order to get a client that day. Do you have a list of leads that you can follow up with? Are there people in particular right now who you think you could serve really well, considering everything that's happening? Are there any particular opportunities there that you need to follow up with? And that's kind of more short term, right? So more long term, thinking, okay, how can I show up to serve people right now? Is there anything that I can create that will kind of bring people together and kind of bring them more into, my audience and my world to, to generate more income for my business long term? What can I put out there right now for the people who are not able to hire me right now, but really did want to hire me a few weeks ago, who genuinely can't do it now because of everything that's happening? What can I do for them today that maybe in 2 months I would get that client, right? So thinking about it in different time frames. Now this is a 7-day workshop, so we're going to be focused on some of those really focused activities that bring in clients and bring in income as quickly as possible. But we also want to set up for long-term growth and stability. So, really thinking about like, what content can you put out there right now? What can you do that's going to expand your network and kind of create an audience that you continue serving through all of this? And then, a few months down the road, those people kind of start to trickle through your lead pipeline. And then a few months down the road, you don't have any problem finding leads because you've been building that this whole time, right? So, yeah, I'm just going to leave you guys with that. I just wanted to talk a little bit about everything that's going on right now, and, I guess some adjustments that we can make to kind of navigate through that. Please do not give up. We really need right now, especially if you are like an educator, or anybody that puts anything into the world that really helps people, and especially if it's something that you can already deliver in virtual or remote setting, please show up. I mean, people really need to see positivity. They need to receive value. They need to, and they have the time right now too to be focused on like learning and stuff. So please continue to show up every day. For those of you who are or were, I know it's kind of unstable right now, but for those of you who are kind of in that full-time employed mode and don't necessarily have a side hustle, or you're not really sure what you're going to do, we're going to dive into that a bit more tomorrow. I'm going to hop on tomorrow morning at 10 Eastern time, or no, I'm sorry. It's actually going to be 11. Let me double check. It was supposed to go out in an email that never got sent, and I didn't get it either, so I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, 11 tomorrow. So 3:26, is that right? Yeah. So 11 a.m. tomorrow. I'm in Eastern time, so that's 8 a.m. Pacific time, and anywhere in between is somewhere in there in the morning. And we are going to focus on, and this is basically what would be the first day. We're going to focus on basically your niche. I didn't want to say that because I know everybody hates doing that work. If you've done it before, it's just so painful, but it's really important. It's one of the most, it's a foundational element of your business. It's something that you have to revisit on a regular basis. I'm not going to make you really hone in on your niche. I just want to make sure that we're all in a passion, purpose driven space so that it is easier for us to make money and really connect with what we're doing in our business in a way that makes it easy to show up, right? It's like, it's something that you just want to get up and do every day. So for those of you who haven't even started yet, I'm going to dive into that a little bit more so that we can really kind of get the gears turning on like what it is exactly that you can offer and how to monetize that offer. And then we're going to start to jump into pricing and packaging and how to frame your offer for your service-based business. Another thing I wanted to mention, if there's anybody in here, I haven't seen this yet in the signups, but I'm going to be sharing this over to another group as well. I know there are some people who sell products. So I want to be as inclusive as possible because everybody's, not everybody, but a lot of people, small business owners are really struggling with income right now. So I want to be as inclusive as I possibly can. Now, I work with service-based entrepreneurs, but I've done a lot of work in product sales as well. And a lot of these elements are they're core foundational elements. So when we talk about in pricing, for example, when we talk about shifting out of into this mindset of you start with your financial goals and kind of work backwards from that. You frame your services and your packaging and your pricing around those goals. There's a way to kind of frame it for products that works there too. So everything that we talk about is, I'm going to try to tie it in a little bit with products if there's anybody who is kind of in that space. But most of what we're doing, it's all going to be like, we're going to be talking about service-based businesses. So when you're creating a package and you're creating an offer, it's for something service-based. Product sales work a bit differently. So we'll have some stuff for you guys too, but we're going to keep it all service-based or geared towards service-based stuff. So if you see this before tomorrow, or we can chat tomorrow again, if you are in that space where you have not started a business yet, you have no clue what you want to do, please reach out to me so we can try to kind of get caught up a little bit, and then we can really move forward with basically income acceleration. But yeah, again, so tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern time, we'll be diving into niche, purpose, passion, and pricing, packaging, and offers. I don't know how much time we'll have to get into all of that, but that's kind of like the first and second day jammed in together. If you have any questions or anything comes up for you at any point, feel free to reach out. We're going to be doing 7 days. And again, I'll probably throw on an extra day just because today nobody's really notified to show up today. So I'll probably throw on an extra day. Or I'll try to kind of condense. I can't really condense it much more. I mean, we're looking at like a 3 to 6 month program. We're trying to do it in 7 days. So yeah, so tomorrow, 11 a.m., I'll try to get the emails sent out. If you have not actually signed up for the workshop and you're just in the group watching, I'll drop a link for the sign up so that you get the emails and stuff. And I'm going to have a couple of workbooks that go out before lessons on specific days. So you can kind of follow along and work through some individual stuff for your own business, because we're going to be talking in a very general purpose or a general sense, and you can ask questions on the live, but I know a lot of people won't be able to make the lives, trying to shift around at different times. But if you can't make the lives for each day, I want to make sure that you have, access to the activities and stuff like that, so you can kind of go through your own stuff if you're not here to answer or ask questions. What else? Oh, the Facebook group. There's 2 Facebook groups. I am broadcasting right now only in the Quit Your Job in 90 Days group. Tomorrow I'm going to put up the way that I normally would on the business page, and then share to a couple of different groups. And then we have the Be Live link as well. And we're also going to be on LinkedIn, and I'm sorry, no, we won't be live on LinkedIn. We'll be on YouTube, but I'll share that on LinkedIn. I know there's a couple of people who don't have Facebooks in here, so we'll make sure to get that up there too. But I'll drop all the links that I have in the comments, or I'll drop the link to the sign up in the comments. So if you want to go sign up, then you'll get the email materials for everything else. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm not doing the day 1 today, so this is just kind of like a, let's chat about what's going on, and we'll really dive into it tomorrow. I hope everyone is doing well, and we'll be live again tomorrow at 11 Eastern time. We'll see you guys soon.